to take in. Today we'll be doing World Cup predictions. We're your hosts, Kara and Los Santos. We'll be discussing our pools and making comparisons of what we believe will be the results and the outcomes of the World Cup. We wait until literally the day before, just hours before the tournament starts, to make these predictions, because on the daily there's been news and other updates that could affect our decisions, right?
Yeah.
Just today, Spain's manager just got sacked. And so I don't know who just yet is going to fill that. I'm not up to date exactly of who's going to come in, but it doesn't necessarily affect my outcome of where Spain lands in the tournament, because I have the confidence that if they're keen enough to do that, despite that Spain's been playing well, I think they could still make it very far. Other news is basically Salah is looking like he's going to miss the first game, but is looking for the rest of the tournament to be playing, so that could affect things with Egypt, and so on and so forth. There's just so much things on the daily you hear. We just need to keep up to date to know and make our firm decisions of what's going to happen. But to start us off, I'll be doing mine with Group A from 1st to 4th. We got Uruguay, Egypt, Russia, and Saudi Arabia. Now, a lot of people were kind of contemplating, like I said, with the whole Salah remark that, if Salah's not there, they're going to be really relying on him. You know, I don't want to think Egypt's too much of a one-man team. They've gone very far in their domestic continent in the African Cup of Nations, right? They did it. You know, they did it with the oldest keeper in the tournament. You know, who's a legend for them. And they have a back line that can be found from MLS to Premier League. And you have El Neni from Arsenal. This is a team that shouldn't be underestimated. They could very well be a dark horse. I'm going to keep them at second place. And I know that could upset some people because Russia, they're the host nation. You would think they got advantages, right? It's their home turf. Russia's really good on their home turf. But Russia can be a little bit too inconsistent. And right now, their recent friendlies, they haven't been pulling up really good results. That's my thoughts, though. Like I think with Uruguay, it's no doubt with me. I think they're gonna stay on top. Like Muslera, Godin, Cavani, Suarez. Like I think they're the experienced ones at that peak age to, stay at the top as well as they did last World Cup, right? Yeah. But moving on to Saudi Arabia. Once again, another team that shouldn't be underestimated, to be honest. Despite that, I did put them 4th place. Only because of the depth aspect, the whole team being well-rounded. I think their forwards look great. Their best striker had a good tally in the qualification rounds. But the experience, the dynamic isn't there for them to reach these kind of tournament stages to perform well. So I don't think they'll do as good as Russia, Egypt, Uruguay. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, all these teams look really good. We'll see what the outcome says. But moving on to Group B. We got Spain in the top, 2nd Portugal, 3rd Morocco, 4th Iran. Now, this seemed clear to me, Spain being the top, like just how well they've been playing lately. Like I'm not even going to begin to say. Some people think that golden age, generation of midfielders going away, like Iniesta, Xavi, so on and so forth. But like they got a good youth spring up, that's for sure. We know that they got youth building with Real Madrid, young players coming through, like with Asensio, who can arguably be their best player of the future, and others to be found in La Liga that I just don't think will diminish their reputation of being such a powerhouse team. I think they can maintain being at the top, and I project them to go really far.
They have some good young guys.
Yeah,
good young players.
And let's not forget the best keeper in the world, De Gea in the back. Piqué and Ramos. Ramos winning his 3rd Champions League in a row back there steadily. In the midfield, I know we're missing some key elements that we would see from the success of previous tournaments. Like I said, with Xavi, retiring from the national team, and yes, it's going to be the final World Cup, but there's some really, really good uprising players that should not be neglected just because those big names are out of the lineup. But even up in the forefront, Morata, Diego Costa, you can't really go wrong with this line. They're just so stacked. But the depth is there, and I know guys on the bench can pull through if the stars won't. So
a lot of people are saying they will make it far because they have a good strong team.
I think so too, man. I really think so. And then on the wings, you have Jordi Alba and Carvajal who can exploit going forward and going through channels. It's gonna look like a really solid team once again, like what we used to see from the previous tournaments. So with Portugal, though, I do have them coming 2nd. To some, that might be an upset because Morocco's looking very good. Morocco, I put 3rd. only because I feel Portugal, they did win Euro 2016. We know that no one really called for that, but they also have some youth uprising. United signing Diogo. You got Guerrero over at Dortmund looking very good. You have Andre Silva up top for AC Milan. Like once again, they have youth coming through. Once again, I think that could save them on the side of like a hybrid of good experienced players like Ronaldo and Pepe and Quaresma, who were really sharp in the Euros. I expect them to just have that cutting edge over top to pull through and make it farther than Morocco. Despite that, Morocco looks very good, and it's thanks to their manager Hervé Renard. He's the best African manager I've seen. He's taken other teams very far in the African Cup of Nations. Shouldn't be underestimated. You got Younes Belhanda, you got Benatia. He has so many great players, so much talent to be found on the pitch. But I think Portugal just has that cut above to get second. And then of course Iran. Now I don't project Iran to have as good as a World Cup as they did 4 years ago. Now I'm not saying that because they went far or anything, but that 1-0 match against Argentina, it really put them. Really worried Argentina a bit to try to finally penetrate through and get a goal because their defense looked really solid and they had good players like Ali Reza and Dejaga. But those guys, they're not found on the team. So I feel like now, I don't think that with the players they have, they'll be enough to carry through past the next group stage. So I have them out for this one. But we'll see what happens. But Group C, moving on to Group C. Number 1, France. The most depthy team in the tournament. I know you being French, I'm gonna call it right now. I think they're not missing any areas of the pitch that they could strengthen. I think they're absolutely top notch. We know this firsthand. We look how they did in the Euro 2016. They gave Portugal a very hard time. They could have won either way that game, but I expect them to go very, very far, and you'll see exactly where I'll place them exactly further on.
I'm hearing a lot of people are starting to have a little doubt because of the game of USA versus France. They say they were struggling on that game. Now they think, they're not a strong team for the World Cup. But I say you can't really judge it from that game because it was just a friendly.
And that's experimental. Managers get a chance to put other players, see how they mesh with other ones, that they're cohesively, they mesh well, they have some chemistry, they work well. Obviously, they might have a chance of being in the lineup for the World Cup, but this is what they experiment with to see what works best, and that's your opportunity to do in the friendly. So it doesn't necessarily decipher this is how it's going to be in the World Cup. That's a different dynamic. You can't compare that. That's what friendlies are for. So, but it gives you some sort of idea, right? Now, for me, I don't think with France,
and plus that game didn't have their full starters.
Exactly. That's what I was about to say. I think once they are there and the World Cup is in their minds and they're playing their first game, you're gonna see exactly the results that I'm anticipating for them to go all the way. You'll see exactly. But for a second place Denmark, that's a team that looked very good for the friendlies, and I think they're a team that's being underestimated right now. Not that there aren't any big names. Christian Eriksen, dynamic attacking mid. Creative playmaker, can pick up pass from far as well, can finish. He's such a good player. They're best. He's got to be on his chops to be taking Denmark very far. If he's not playing as well, it could kind of, it could. But there's other players like Brathwaite that they could depend on. Really, really great player. Schmeichel obviously in goal. Denmark, I expect them to go through a second. I know some people are I don't know, what about Australia, Peru, which, Australia did amazing last World Cup. No one saw how good they were going to be. But Tim Cahill pushing 38, 39 actually this year in December. They keep depending on him because they got nothing going forward. The midfield looks good with Rogic and Moy. Those guys play.
They count on Cahill to
they're
all the balls.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I don't think this time Australia's gonna go far. I actually think they're gonna hit bottom. Because Peru looked good during qualifying for South America, and they do have some good young guns, some very pacey, fast players. But I don't think they'll make it out of the group stage because they're just not experienced in the World Cup. I think it's a France-Denmark for 1 and 2. We're moving on to Group D though. From 1 to 4, I have a little bit of an upset. Because some people would think Argentina would top it, But I think it's going to be Croatia, Argentina, Nigeria, Iceland. Now, once again, like the most common order I see is Argentina, Croatia, Nigeria, Iceland. That's the most common I see.
Yeah.
Now Nigeria did look promising. Iwobi looked very good for Nigeria. Like he, not how he plays for Arsenal as of late, at least. By the way, those jerseys look amazing. I think I'm calling right now, Nigeria, you have the best jerseys in the tournament. But sadly, I don't think you guys are going to go through. And I think, just like England, Nigeria for Africa has sort of a curse. And that curse is, I feel like in late stages of any form of any major tournament, they kind of choke. And I feel like, I'm not sure if the manager can really pull them through any tight stages if they were to keep going. Because even though, once again, there's some individual talents, I don't think as a collective they'll be able to push through. And like I've noticed Nigeria, they almost like they often get yellow or red cards sometimes. Like the World Cup, actually when they faced Greece, they got a red card and Greece ended up beating them 2-1, right? So like I can anticipate something like that happening again because some players have bad disciplinary records, but we'll see. Iceland, we know in recent years they've been really good. But in comparison to Argentina and Croatia with a world-class midfield, as to why I put them on top with Rakitic and Modric.
Strikers too.
Who, yeah, exactly. And you know, in Mandzukic, even though he's 32, he's still looking great. Still looking great, you know. But I think Croatia can really make people turn heads this tournament because this is their time to kind of really shine. You have guys on Croatia's squad that have won major tournaments this season, like this past season, you know, with Modric getting the Champions League with Real Madrid, Rakitic winning the league. You know what I mean? Like midfield can almost feel like everything sometimes. If there's a good track between defense and attack, like the work rates between those players are amazing. So it'll almost feel like there's going to be no space to be found for all those teams. They're going to have a hard time taking out Croatia. But with Argentina, last but certainly not least, especially since I have them in second place, because I know some people have in first place, I don't think Messi's going to finish his career winning a World Cup. And it saddens me to say it because he deserves it. We all know he deserves it. He's never been a champion with a gold medal for Argentina, and I don't think it's going to happen this time around. I point my finger at management. I point my finger in the defense because it's looking a little bit shaky right now. Like, I think Otamendi is going to be leaned upon a lot. But they have a lot of their domestic players who don't really compare to the caliber of what they have midfield and up front. And plus, they weren't looking good in the friendlies. They faced Nigeria. They lost to Nigeria. But they do turn up in tournaments because they got the experience.
Messi wasn't there when they lost.
I know. But do you feel that Messi is the deciding factor? Because you got Di Maria.
Yeah, they had all like Di Maria, Aguero,
you got Biglia, you got Mascherano.
He was there playing. I think he had an injury in that game.
Yeah.
Against Nigeria. Yeah, but he was there. They were there. Everybody was there, but they still lost.
But then you have players that are on the team but have been sitting for the bench for other clubs, like Marcus Rojo and Romero for United. They're good players, but if they're not playing consistently, it's kind of worrisome if you think they're going to perform consistently when they play for the national team. Because it's like, when have these guys been playing? You know, like during training, it's not enough. Like, it's nice to have starting players that are always playing for their starting clubs. So that's why I'm like, I'm not going to say Argentina's out, but I think they have just enough to make it second, and Nigeria will fall third. That's my Group D prediction. But moving on to Group E, Brazil, Serbia, Switzerland, and Costa Rica. All right. Now, despite the closure Brazil had 4 years ago against Germany with the 7-1, I think that's going to go a 180 this time around. I think Brazil's going to redeem themselves finally. And I think it's going to be very pivotal that new players like Fred are going to make a difference. He just got signed to United. Then we have, like, going forward, you got Jesus. We got Neymar, who despite, is having a bit of, his own little issues over at PSG. He doesn't want to stay, and he wants to keep improving himself competitively because he's making statements like Liga is not as competitive as other leagues to constantly improve himself as a player. I still think he'll do justice for the national team. Like, they relied on him before, but they're not so reliant on him this time. You got Thiago in the back, David Luiz, Ederson, sorry. All these great players that do well for club. I think, once again, just like France, they have depth everywhere. and they can make it very far. I really perceive them to go far in the tournament. They are my first.
I feel like this is pretty easy group.
You think so?
For Brazil.
Despite how good Costa Rica was 4 years ago, some people are calling me crazy to put them fourth place.
Yeah,
but I think I don't. Costa Rica, they don't have anything coming in that's like fresh. Like, not many new faces. So, and some of these guys are aging, like Brian Ruiz. I don't think Costa Rica is going to do that well this time around. Now, Keylor Navas is going to have a lot of shots on net, but how much can he take before he coughs up? Like Switzerland, Serbia. Now we know Serbia is notorious for being inconsistent, but they got players around the world that play for notorious clubs. I think they can turn it around this time. I think they're playing to redeem themselves. I think they looked pretty solid in qualifying. Switzerland, we know how stacked they are. They have several really good players that play in top leagues. You know, Shaqiri being my favorite. Xhaka, even though he didn't have a good season at Arsenal, there's kind of anchors like that where I feel like just like Xhaka, where it might put them down in third place and they won't go through because we can't. He needs to be prepared all over from defense, midfield to attack. Man, I feel like if Xhaka's playing how he was for Arsenal, I don't think Switzerland's going through, and I think Serbia will have the edge for that reason. When they go head to head, I think they will. But that's my logic for Group E. Like, do you feel Brazil is by far the most stacked between those?
Yeah. For that group, yeah.
Because you said it's really easy.
Yeah,
like,
easy. I think,
what do you think is easy about it in terms of like?
Because when you see like all those teams like Serbia, Switzerland, Costa Rica, and you see like all the friendlies, it's pretty much uneven. Like you have them losing, tying, winning a couple of games. But when you see Brazil friendlies, it's always like consistent, you know, winning games, you know, you don't see that many ties and losses. So I think like I think they're going to be like undefeated for that group E.
I think they could. They could very well be like, I'm not saying by a lot, I'm saying by a goal difference, if that. But because they will take it game by game because they know they have to, you know, kind of redeem themselves after that 7-1 loss with Germany. But like I think once they get in their heads, their mentalities, they become really positive and clear that they're like slowly, progressively winning these games. Like they're a team that could go on like a rampage, go berserk on some people. Like Brazil, historically speaking, like, they're one of the best teams in the tournament. No doubt. Well, for Group F though, Germany, Sweden, Mexico, South Korea. Okay, so I know this is where another upset. I'm filled with upsets today. Normally people would say Germany, Mexico, and then so forth. I don't think Mexico is looking good. They didn't look good for the friendlies. They didn't look good for a lot of the players that are playing CONCACAF Champions League against TFC. I think, and on that note, MLS is catching up to Liga MX in terms of competition, and that just reflects how Liga MX is as a competition, how a lot of the players on the national team, where they stand competitively, right? Sweden took out Italy in their last game to qualify. They have a solid midfield. They have Forsberg, who's constantly in the talks of many transfer rumors this summer. Actually, Arsenal is trying to make a bid for him. I don't think they're going to be successful in getting him, but there's a few big names there that could be the difference. That I feel that if Sweden and Mexico were to go head-to-head for second place, Sweden's results will be better than Mexico's. I feel like Sweden's more physical. I don't think they're necessarily overall quicker, but I think they'll play a better mental game. They're playing with a point to prove. Now we know Sweden,
because they don't have Zlatan.
That's exactly what it is. Because they thought people would think like, oh, Zlatan trying to carry the team. No, like you have.
Now they have to prove themselves without Zlatan.
Exactly. You got Jimmy Dermaz, you got Marcus Berg. These are great forwards. Like I think Sweden could get to second place. And for South Korea, we all know the one big name on South Korea, and that's Heung-min Son from Tottenham. I was looking at the roster, I was looking at the games. They have a lot of domestic league players from Korea. And competitively speaking, some of them look good, but I don't feel like together it's a balanced team. You know, you have one superstar. I'm not saying I don't ever believe that one superstar carries a team, but compared to the competition, once again, I don't feel South Korea will be successful in this group against the likes of Sweden, Germany, and Mexico. I think it'll be very hard for them this time around. And obviously with Germany, last but certainly not least, that speaks for itself. They won the last World Cup. I know going forward they don't look as deadly. They called up Mario Gomez again, which people are just like, what? Timo Werner is starting to get caps for the national team, but he's not an experienced player for Germany, despite that he looked good for Red Bull Leipzig.
Royce finally decided to join the international.
Right, but here's the thing: they picked Royce over Leroy Sané. Now, don't get me wrong, Marco Royce is my favorite German player.
No, but Sané is injured. That's why.
Yeah, but I feel in time for the World Cup, there was it was debatable. Would he be okay by the time the World Cup would begin? I see it, but
it's putting
it is putting a risk, and it could detriment his injury to make it even worse.
Sané's putting out a Royce.
Ironically enough, Royce was always in the hospitals playing. So wow, geez, I mean, he was good for the qualifier. I won't take it away. I love Royce, but there's some guys that really need to step up. Now, surprisingly, Mario Götze didn't get a call up. He didn't have a good season for Dortmund. He didn't have a good season, but they have other guys in the midfield that will step up, and we know this for a fact. Khedira looking good. They'll be very good, but I don't anticipate him to go as far as most people think. Anyways, you'll see the results. Let's go move on to Group G. All right, so this for me is the easiest group. That's my opinion. Belgium, England, Tunisia, Panama. Now, Belgium, on paper, they look amazing. Results, they are getting them, but not as good as people would think they should be getting. More goals, from Lukaku, Mertens, Hazard. They should be. People think they should be annihilating teams with who they have, right? Thierry Henry as their number 2. Ex-Everton manager also there, who knows what he's doing. He knows how to manage the team right. I expect them to go far finally. I feel like by this time it's okay, they're slowly building, the experience to be in these tournaments regularly. I think now is their big break. I think they're going to redeem it. And Tunisia and Panama are not very threatening teams. Panama, the first time they've been in the World Cup. Now they have a few good players in the MLS that I pay attention to. But I don't think it's going to be sufficient. No disrespect to Panama. Tunisia, they have their days. I've seen them in some African tournaments where they kind of turn up, but I see them as the least threatening African team in this tournament, Tunisia. So for me, despite that England has the curse, England should go through as the runner-up choice. I mean, on paper, we know it's there. You know what I mean? We got Rashford, we got Dele Alli, we got Walker, we got Cahill, even though he didn't have a good season. Henderson. It should be sufficient. Harry Kane he should be scoring a lot of goals in that group. Should be scoring a lot of goals, and Sterling should as well. But those are my predictions for Group G. We'll move on to Group H. So last but not least. Now, this was the hardest for me because Poland and Senegal was I know Senegal. In my heart, I know Senegal will go through, whether it be first or second. And that's what kind of made me decide. Okay, I don't think, even though Lewandowski was tied for most goals in qualifying at 16, and then you have so many good players in that line and that team that play for so many different clubs. I feel like Senegal, with how they've been in recent years in this tournament, they've defied a lot of odds. We know that. Senegal have looked really good in the World Cup, these last few ones. They were one of the best. Senegal and Ghana were my favorites these last few major tournaments. And I'm a Liverpool fan. I'm going to support my Mane. You got Koulibaly in there, who's one of the most desired center backs. I think they'll have the edge over Poland. I think Poland won't necessarily choke, but I think their backline will very much be tested. Chesney, who never gets time on Juventus because he's not the number 1. Once again, players not playing regularly can affect results. I feel Senegal will be an all-out attacking team with Mane in the forefront, and just we'll pick some serious goals in that group. Same with Colombia. We know how good Colombia was last time. James Rodriguez is still looking good for national team. Falcao's in the mix. He had his moments this season. He started off the season very well.
And Cuadrado was doing
Cuadrado, the pace is there. They're
Juventus,
so fast, right? Like once again, I think Colombia. Most people don't have them going as far as I do. I think Colombia will do very well in this tournament. And now Japan, you know, they have their big names with Kagawa, Honda, Nagatomo. I don't think against these particular matchups it will look very good for them. I feel like Japan relies mostly on their physicality of stamina and pace to try to get by some of these players physically on a head-to-head. Because when I was paying attention to the last World Cup, you know, supporting Greece and all, I noticed they kind of struggled going up with teams with like bigger guys, and I feel like they were, like I said, depending on their, you know, their fitness to try to pace their way around people and not try to get too you know, bullied off of balls and things like that. Because Poland has got some pretty big physical players that know how to just overstrength people for the ball and finish just like Lewandowski, like I mentioned, and Colombia with Falcao, and then Senegal, who's got even pacier players like Mane. I don't know. It's kind of. I just, in comparison,
I don't know. Senegal and Poland is.
This is why it's so hard. This is the hardest group for me.
It's hard.
Because all these teams are great. No team makes the World Cup by fluke. No, none of them. They're all good. But I have my confidence in Colombia, Senegal compared to Poland, Japan.
This one is tough.
I'm thinking as a team mentality, right? I'm thinking as a collective. You can't look at one outstanding player on Poland, one outstanding Japan, one Colombia, and be like, okay, this is gonna be a difference because they rely on this guy as much. That's the most comments I hear, and I'm just like, that's not what it's about. You know, it doesn't matter if Lewandowski scored the most qualifying goals. That's good for him, but this is the World Cup now. It's not qualifying. Everybody has certain areas of the world that they got to deal with that make them seem like, because there was a striker from the United Arab Emirates who also had 16 goals, just like Lewandowski. But that's because that area of the world doesn't have the strongest teams that they're going up against, right? I feel like now that you're going up against the big guns, it's not going to come to fruition on paper the same as it would in qualifying. That's my group for that. We're moving on to round 16. Now that I've given a debriefing for each national team, I'm going to go round of 16. Boom, knockout stage. Uruguay, Portugal. Portugal to leave. Yeah, kind of an upset, isn't it? Despite that I talk very highly about both Portugal and Uruguay.
Why'd you pick Uruguay on the round of 16 for that game?
Why?
Yeah, why?
Because I feel like Cavani and Suarez, the thirst for a World Cup, with as close as they almost have made it, is there more than like any other player than most in this tournament. And you can see that tenacity, like of how they play, that drive, that like how real it is on the pitch. I see these guys. Like, you're talking about a guy like Suarez, who is willing to jump in front of a net, do a handball against Ghana, as he did 8 years ago. Hands blocking balls doesn't stop at that. He bit Chiellini. He bit multiple players more than once. You know, if you're biting players and stopping ball with your hands, like, your thirst is real. Like, this is now or never for them. Cavani, Suarez, Godin, Mussari, they're all at their peaks. This is their last chance. And I feel like, compared to Portugal's forefront and what they offer for defense and midfield, some of the younger guns that are not as experienced, it might be the deciding factor. I don't think this Portugal team is necessarily relying on Ronaldo. They did it without him for the final when he got injured. You got Carvalho stepping up. You got Rui Patricio stepping up. You even had the Swansea reject step up. Adair. You know what I mean? Like, these guys, they can make the difference. But Uruguay will press higher. Portugal might invite too much pressure. The space will be. I feel like they'll overwhelm them. I think they're going to win this round right here. But moving on to the next one, I feel this is going to cause another upstrings of fans that are going to be like, what? Argentina out already? They're going against France, who, like I said, I projected going very far. I said all my reasons before as to why I don't think Argentina will be one of the powerhouse teams to look out for at this World Cup. It's unfortunate. Hearts will be shattered. Messi's biggest chance was 4 years ago against Germany in the final. That's what I believe. I think it comes to an end here. France is just the strongest team for me. I think this was a poor luck matchup for Argentina to get them out soon. On to the next one, though. We got Brazil versus Sweden. Now, like I said about France, Brazil being the other, one of the few powerhouse teams, the depth will surmise, I think, Sweden when it comes to the final third of the game. I think Brazil will start pecking goals in Sweden. I think they're going to win this one by quite a few goals, and will eliminate Sweden outright. There's only so much far in the stage Sweden can go. It was enough that they went out of the group stage, so that was a big deal, but it comes to an end here, without a doubt. It's going to be Jesus' time. It's going to be Neymar's time. Here come the goals. Next round. We got Belgium versus Senegal. This is so hard, because, I mean, some guys project Senegal to go so far. I got so much faith in Belgium because of how they are on paper, but also...
Like I say Belgium will...
I think so. Even though, you see Belgium play in the World Cup, and sometimes they're either losing or tying or to teams that they shouldn't. I think, like I said, this is their big break. I don't feel...
If Belgium loses that game,
then
it's going to be...
I mean, this is the closest one out of all the matches where it can go either way. Because, that pace that Senegal has, man. That pace, Belgium's got some quick ones too, but...
But they're known for choking too, Belgium.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm worried about, right? Senegal's got a good high pressing line. Mane's used to it on Liverpool. Man, but I feel like Belgium will try to play the smartest game they can to contain those players coming into the box and to eliminate any space. So that's something they're going to look out for. I feel like in organized fashion they'll pass this round. But moving on to the next one. Spain versus Egypt. Now, vast comparison. Now, I did say by here at this stage, Salah's for sure going to be playing. I don't feel... I know I'm talking about individual people, and I shouldn't because I'm talking about the reflection of the team, but if we're talking about their best player, who's arguably a Ballon d'Or candidate, Salah, towards the end of the season, wasn't looking as strong. Like, not regular EPL season, I'm talking about post with Champions League. The last couple of games didn't look too good for him. Despite that, he did get injured in the final. He didn't have enough time to really play and kind of prove himself.
He did pretty good.
He did, but I wasn't impressed with the Roma series with Salah. Like, I mean, there was other players that looked more effective.
I think Salah looked solid on that game.
I just hope, some guys kind of lose a bit of steam that they're going into something like this. Like, I know it's a once-in-a-lifetime thing for some. Where it's like, whoa, Egypt's in here. We gotta go all guns blazing, and I know they're gonna have that mentality. And they were looking decent for friendlies. I just feel Spain, one of the best teams in the tournament.
Without a doubt,
Spain seems like a no-brainer. You got a few Real Madrid players who are gonna figure it out. Salah and his typical ways of scoring. His typical routines of
it's gonna be tough for Salah to score because he doesn't have the Manes, the Firmino.
He's gonna have El Neni. He's gonna have El Neni.
Yeah, but
Warda attacking mid.
No, but he doesn't have those pace players, those smart players like Firmino or Mane and stuff like that. He doesn't have that in the Egypt team, and the defenders too. So it's like
I think if there is a weak link, even though some of those defenders could be fun, nonetheless, in Premier League like Hegazi and Gabber, I think they're gonna be overwhelmed by Morata and Diego Costa. I think they're gonna go right through, and their keeper's very. He's a legend, but his reflexes aren't as quick, right? At his overripe age, and I feel like Spain are gonna overwhelm the goal. I think it's gonna be a big score difference for this one. Moving on to the next round, though, Croatia versus Denmark. This is gonna be an interesting one. Now, I do have Croatia winning it. I think it's gonna be a game that's decided from the midfield. I keep talking about the midfield, but I feel like everything that happens from the midfield is going to be rudimentary as to why Croatia goes very far. And I think Denmark is going to be absolutely shocked to just try to win balls in the midfield, like winning all those battles to carry on forward, they're gonna have a lot of hard time because they're just so stacked. It's world class. What Croatia has going on right now is world class. They can make sure the ball just stays on the opponent's end almost an entire game sometimes. So the possession they retain, the passes they pick out, it's purely possession game they play. A lot of tiki-taka based things, a lot of one-touch football. I think they'll be able to move the ball quicker than Denmark. They'll have a better shape than Denmark. And Denmark will just have to keep resorting to building out from the back and then just get stopped and impeded from the midfield to go for it. It's a Croatia win for me. I'm sorry. Moving on to the next round, though. Germany versus Serbia. Now, we all remember years ago, Serbia versus Germany. They won 1-0. Won't go that way this time around. However, I do hope Serbia does well in this tournament. I want them to go far, but I don't predict them to go past a powerhouse like Germany this time around.
No.
Like we said, they have great individual talents from all over the world, but I do worry about the attack. You got Prijovic, who plays in the Greek league, not the best striker. Mitrovic, he's a good player, but he's not consistent. I think this game is going to end in like a 2 or 3-0 for Germany, something along the lines of that. Germany's just going to have a hard time just breaking through Boateng or Hummels or Zule they just...
It's going to be tough.
It's going to be really tough for them to do what they did before. It's just going to go the other way around for me. I think Germany doesn't finish here. They keep going. And Joachim Low is still going to have his success as he always does, just as long as he doesn't keep his hands in his pants. Next round. All right, so here comes the England curse. Colombia versus England.
Yeah.
Colombia versus England. Now, on paper, overall, England should.
Is stronger.
But
on paper.
Here's my problem with England, all right? All these guys are rivals in the Premier League. They can kind of get it together, but at the same time, there's a lot of banter in the locker room from what I hear. And it's partially from players, but it's also apparently a lot of the players have a problem with Southgate. My opinion is Southgate is more of a motivator than a tactician. I don't think he's a good enough manager for England. And it's such a shame because England get riddled with like a series of bad managers. I wasn't a fan of Roy Hodgson before. He's done good things, but like what happened in the Euros, it's not excusable the way they went out, and they looked very good in the Euros at that time. Even Hart, Smalling, and Cahill, who had good years then, like looked all right to keep going, but now none of those guys are looking good for this year. So there is somewhat of a worry in the back line if you were to pick it out, because you have once again, the midfield. Defensive midfield area would be a problem because they do normally do a 4-2-3-1. But it's just going forward looks great. Dele Alli, Sterling Kane. But then you look like the defensive mid center back area, a little bit of problems. Obviously the wigs look great, man. You got Walker and Rose, but like here, expect like if there are goals just right outside the box or within, like we got to make sure Cahill's gonna be sharp because he didn't look that good this season. And then Henderson did play well for Liverpool, but not as good as his other years. Could go iffy. I'm surprised Wilshere didn't make that. Wilshere didn't get called up, but then again, he didn't have a good season either. So they don't have a lot of choices.
Yeah.
They got to rely on some new guys coming in, like Pope and Maguire, in that area that's trouble between center back, defensive mid. We'll see what happens. But I think Colombia are just gonna.
Yeah, Colombia is gonna take it.
Let's be real. Let's be real. I think you compare it.
Yeah.
And I feel Colombia is just going to go through this round. No doubt about it. Next round, though, let's see. We are already in the quarter-finals. My beloved France and yours to beat Uruguay. That's going to be a very good game. It'll be close. I'm anticipating something along the lines of a 2-1.
It's going to be
close.
Interesting.
It will.
Interesting game.
But, a lot of former teammates facing each other here.
Yeah.
We'll try to figure each other out back and forth. But
it's going to be a good game.
It's going to be a good game, that's for sure, yeah. But Griezmann, Giroud, not even Lacazette can make the line. Lamar, Mbappe, Dembele, Pogba in the mid. Ooh, gosh. N'Golo Kante. Yeah. That's already looking like there's more firepower to offer there than what Uruguay has. Now, Uruguay in the midfield do have a young promise. Torreira just got signed for Arsenal today. He is claimed to be the next N'Golo Kante, ironically enough, but he hasn't really blown up on the world stage yet. He's still young. There's a few other young players like that play for the domestic league that just don't compare to these world starters, and I feel like that's going to be a decider here. I feel like there's going to be a France win over Uruguay. Moving on to the next quarterfinal, though. Brazil versus Belgium. Now, any game's going to be good in the quarterfinals, but I think at this point, Brazil has the edge. I think Brazil, they...
For that game, I could already see the score.
What's the score, you think?
Like
3-0. 3-0?
Yeah, I said 3-0.
3-0. I was actually thinking it was going to be like a 1-0 for Brazil.
You think so?
Tober Alderweireld, Verdon.
I think probably
Courtois
like,
in the back.
I say probably like one Coutinho,
3 goals against that.
Neymar, and probably like Willian.
Yeah, Willian looked good this season. Coutinho, obviously, amazing. Statistically speaking, Coutinho gets the most goals out of the box. He can. He's gonna go up against Courtois, but like, maybe it'll be a good game, closer than we think. But I think Brazil has the edge over that.
No, of course.
Next quarterfinal, though, what we got? We got Spain versus Croatia, the battle of the famous midfielders. That's gonna be really good. That's gonna be tiki-taka possession midfield base to the max. It's gonna be the tiki-taka maestro of Spain gonna go against Croatia, who
for me
inherits so much of the Spanish way.
For me, like I say, Croatia.
You're kidding.
I say Croatia.
I mean, it could happen.
I know you pick Spain, but I say Croatia for me. For that
Look,
one.
at this stage of the game, it's so hard to decide because these teams are just that good. But I think there's only one team that does possession-based best, and that's technically Spain. And I feel Croatia can inherit only so much before they will get into ridiculous areas on the pitch to receive balls and give off. And I think if a goal happens here, it's going to be from a set play. Open play is going to be very hard to develop goals from this match. Spain wins over Croatia. But the next one, we got Germany versus Colombia.
Yeah,
I think Colombia can only go so far. I think Germany...
Yeah, it's going to take it.
This is as high as Germany goes at the same time. Because once again, we said Germany is lacking that usual attacking depth. But guys like Muller will pull through. He's trying to push for a World Cup record for goals. Miroslav Klose has 16. Muller has 10. And Muller's still only 28, 29. He can very much still get a few goals this World Cup and play in the next one and break the records. And I think as much as goals won't be as easy the stage of the game.
Yeah, for that game, it's going to be tough.
It's going to be tough because you have good strikers from either end. So it's we boil down to the defense. We got big men at both of the back. Colombia's Zapata, one name to look out for. Even though, he's not. Colombia's back line isn't much like most people talk about. I think that's what's going to be a deciding factor for Germany to win because you have Ospina and net. I know you're an Arsenal fan. Ospina, I don't feel it's that starting quality for that. I don't think he's going to pull through this game. I think Ospina is going to fail for Colombia when it comes this far.
I feel like they're gonna.
Ospina's been the number 2 for Arsenal. I feel like it's gonna be so much pressure on him. But this game,
I feel like they're gonna choke. They're gonna choke on that game. They're gonna choke on that game. Like I feel like.
So Germany go through, and then the last court, we got semi-final here: France versus Brazil. I remember years ago when we saw back in 06 with Ronaldinho.
This one I can't really.
Henry.
This one, it's tough. This one is tough.
If you remember, France did beat them back in 06 against Brazil with some big names on the board there. But I think...
Even 98.
That was such a good final. But I think France just read Brazil really well on their head-to-head based on this history. And I feel Didier Deschamps, being on that 98 squad, would be the perfect guy at the helm to lead France to this victory. I mean, we know there's quality there. A lot of Brazilians play in France, so they would try to do their homework to be like, all right, well, we know this guy in France, how his tendencies are, what his weaknesses are, how can we exploit that, take advantage of France in the worst ways to score some goals. But it will be close. France wins that one. I think they go through. The second semifinal, though, Spain versus Germany. Whoa, big matchup. Spain wins this one. That's what I think. I think they have looked so impressive in the friendlies, despite that they just sacked their manager. People call me crazy. It doesn't change the results for me because I think with good reasoning, if they sack their manager, it means they got something better going on. They're not,
For me, for this one,
not
I
going to make any
think.
bad calls at this point.
For me, for this one, I think Germany's taking it.
Germany?
Yeah, I think for this
You
one.
think so, eh?
Yeah.
Germany to the final?
Yeah.
You don't feel like going forward, they're kind of lacking a bit?
No.
Despite some of the players that are not...
I don't know. It's like Germany is always like they've always been like a solid team.
They're the most consistent
Yeah,
team ever.
consistent team.
That's what they are. They're always you always expect results, which is why I have them coming this later. But I'm not as thrilled to see the creativity going forward and like the prime finishes from their strikers to be as impeccable as they've been in previous tournaments. I feel like Spain's got
Like
this.
for me, Spain, the defense, like it's kind of weak.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You really think
Yeah.
PK, Carvajal,
Yeah.
Ramos, and Alba let out?
Yeah.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah. I think they're gonna do like a mistake and Germany is gonna score. I don't know who's gonna score. Probably Müller.
I think it's a set play. Usually when this matchup happens, it's usually a set play goal. I remember this happened in the World Cup 2010, Spain versus Germany, before the finals, the semifinal, exactly like this. Puyol, header. Very good one. Very good one. It's probably one of my favorite goals by him, but it's going to be something along the lines of that. I think Ramos is going to score it. I think it's going to be a center back goal for Spain versus Germany.
Spain.
And now, moving on to third place. Who is it? We got Brazil versus Germany, but revenge. Brazil winning, Germany losing. And it's not going to be a 7-1 vice versa. They'll win.
Neymar doesn't get injured.
And Thiago, because Thiago is also Thiago Silva. So, yeah, it won't be a 7-1 for Brazil, Germany per se, but they will win, not by much. It is kind of a consolation game at this point, but Brazil have a point to prove. And now, the moment of truth, last but not least, France versus Spain. France wins the World Cup. Their big break since '98. I think, like I said from the beginning, France had the most depth out of any squad in the tournament. And I think Didier Deschamps will finally win a major trophy for Spain. I mean, for France, sorry. I had to overcome Spain.
You really want Spain to win, eh?
Look. They're great. Obviously, we know this. But I feel like France have more weapons. I feel like the tools they got in the midfield, it's going to be another midfield-based game once again. I think there might be a few serious cards going to be drawn out, injuries even, just like how we saw here in 2016 final. But I think it's clear to me. I feel like France are the most deserved winners with their whole personnel. I just can't see it going any other way. Especially, I mean, now I can make the argument, yeah, Spain just sacked their manager. Is it getting a new manager last minute going to be enough to get them all the way? I don't think so. I feel like this is how it's going to be. And it's even crazy for me to even say that with now that they sacked their manager just before the day of the tournament. So these are my results, but we're checking out Los Santos now and seeing in comparison what he did differently than me.
Finally, my time to shine, eh? My time to shine.
I've been waiting, I talked too much, I'm sorry.
We're waiting a
I have to
long
lay
time.
it out, but at least
Long-
everybody knows to expect from every team.
Expect, but now is my prediction.
Yeah.
For Group A,
Mm-hmm.
you have Uruguay,
Alright, yeah.
Russia,
Yeah.
Egypt.
So he
and
puts Russia and runner-up
Saudi
in
Arabia.
Egypt third. The Salah thing, eh?
Yeah,
It's going to be the difference. Russia, host nation, they should take advantage. Like, I was thinking that too. I think you're onto something there. The host should be...
Because I think if Salah doesn't play, because the first game is like it does everything, and they have to win the second game. So if they
Every
draw,
point matters, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, Russia could be there.
Like I put Russia there just to see because we don't really know.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna be on the 14th of June, first game. So if Russia wins against Saudi Arabia, then I think they will have like the confidence since they're like the host they have their confidence, and I think they'll take that.
Valid argument, man. I was thinking that too, man.
But moving on to
Group B. Yeah. So we got.
I say Spain.
Exactly like me.
Portugal.
I actually thought you would put Morocco over Portugal.
Nah.
Because you know how Morocco been really good.
Yeah, they've been really good, but I don't think they're gonna beat Portugal
and
or
Spain,
Spain.
who've been very good in recent years as well. I just
Spain.
that comparison, I feel Morocco, they don't make it often.
Yeah.
So no, I could see that. There's not much comments to say.
Moving on to
Group C.
I say France, Australia, Denmark, and Peru.
And I put Denmark second, but Australia second when I had Australia fourth, if you guys remember. What makes you think Australia's going to be that good this time?
Looking at the last World Cup, they were doing pretty good.
Yeah? I think it's still going to stay for this one?
Like I say, when Australia faces Denmark, I think it's going to be like an easy win for Australia. I say it's going to be an easy win for them. Because Denmark, for me, they're not really a strong team.
Yeah, you don't feel that?
Yeah, I don't feel that. I don't feel that. Even like watching like their friendly games and stuff like that. Yeah, I feel like coming up to the tournament and that game, I feel like they're not gonna do that well.
Do you think Cahill will actually pick some goals at the right age, 30?
I feel
even that late, eh?
Yeah, I feel like
Cahill, the Roger Mila of Australia, for real.
I feel like Cahill's gonna step it up. He's gonna step it up.
For a guy his age, he is really physically fit. He's keeping fit as best he can, but this is definitely his last. He should be retiring after this. But good for him.
But going on to Group D.
Ooh,
Argentina, Croatia.
So we just swapped Croatia and Argentina but I know how big of an Argentina fan you are, so it should be.
I see.
I know. Look, it's not much different. But what do you feel about Croatia though, as to why they would be runners up? Because you know how threatening Croatia can be.
Yeah, the midfield and the forwards.
Yeah.
The forwards.
And you don't feel that would surpass what Argentina have to offer with how they've been playing lately? Remember what Argentina did in the friendlies. You got Nigeria overwhelming. I know without Messi, but Messi's not that one-man team,
But when you look at it, Messi is. They rely on Messi, and I think Messi's gonna do.
He's gonna do whatever it takes to make sure he gets a World Cup win. That's a fair.
I know they had a little bit a struggle on that last game versus Haiti, but Messi stepped up, and he got them through.
This is it.
And probably like this group, Nigeria, Iceland, I don't think they're really gonna be be a hard team to beat for like Argentina. I think it's gonna be like an easy win for Argentina. Croatia, probably like they're gonna struggle a bit, but I think they're gonna beat Croatia too. For me.
Well, I'm glad you have them. We have both teams coming through, regardless of where they're positioned. So,
Group B. Brazil, Costa Rica,
Serbia. So pretty much you just compared to me. You swapped Serbia for Costa Rica. I had Costa Rica fourth, and then now you have Costa Rica second.
Yeah, second.
And Serbia down.
Because they had a good World Cup.
They did. But 4 years later, do you feel like the same arrangement? It's not that much different. Some of their lines.
Yeah,
you think they can still?
I think they
still got it in them.
Yeah, I think they still got it in them. Especially Switzerland and Serbia.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be like it's gonna be a good game, but I think Costa Rica is gonna have like.
What really puts you off about Serbia to have them that low this time?
Like Serbia.
Inconsistency?
Inconsistency.
Yeah, that's the argument.
Like
I would make, if anything.
They don't really have like superstars on the team, so I think they're gonna be like a little bit nervous coming up to those games and facing like Brazil, Costa Rica, and Switzerland. I think they're gonna have like hard time, like winning. So I put them there fourth.
Okay. Looking good going for Group F.
Germany.
Okay, so he has Mexico going through and Sweden
and South Korea.
So you don't feel like Dos Santos and Chicharito are looking weaker than usual.
Oh no, like Mexico, they always do good. Like on the World Cup,
They always go through. They always go through.
They always go through.
You gotta also remember, CONCACAF. There's not much competition for it. It's usually USA, Mexico, and then a lucky place 13. In this case, it was Panama, right?
Yeah.
And Panama's first time ever. I think
But
that's gonna be a hard one.
I think those two. I think those two are gonna be like Sweden and South Korea.
There's one thing I would say about Mexico. I feel like they're one of those teams that are just vastly different from qualifying to when the real game starts with the World Cup. Kind of like Italy too, except we're not seeing Italy this time. And like Mexico's kind of known for that on this
like
side of the world.
Qualifiers, they kind of
could go either way sometimes.
It goes down, up and down. But when it gets to like the
see.
tournaments phase, the World Cup, like they're a different team. They're a different team. So.
Moving on to Group H. I mean G, sorry. Group G.
Belgium, England, Tunisia,
so
Panama.
you agree with me. This is the exact same. So okay, alright. Now in my opinion, this was the easiest group, like I said. Now, it's interesting because a lot of people think England, because on paper England looked that good. A lot of people put England to top it. They should have top it. But you put Belgium instead. Now, what do you see in Belgium, what they got in comparison to England? It gives them that first-ranked spot as opposed to second.
They have good back four.
Yeah.
Good company.
Yeah, that I actually prefer that back four than England's. I would say England's center backs because England's fullbacks are amazing.
Yeah.
They're very quick. We know that. But if I'm going to compare, Belgium's center backs are definitely better than England's center backs. That's my opinion. That's
with the
so I think,
with the Hazard
and goalie. I mean, what we have Butland starting.
Yeah.
But he's not Courtois. There's vast differences
Even
in skill
the forwards too.
we got Harry Kane,
yeah.
versus Dries Mertens
and Lukaku.
Lukaku
had a good season.
But logically, Harry Kane, Mertens had a great season in Serie A. He used to be a right winger, now they can move him more striker.
But for me, like England's have like doubts. Like I don't know.
It's that curse, right?
Yeah.
They do choke later.
Yeah,
they choke
later. Like group stage, they do good.
But my biggest problem is the manager. Like Southgate, I don't think he's the man to take them all the way. That's so. I mean, it was hard to not see them not play second in this group. They should get through it. So that we both agree on that. Group H though. Group H. What we got here? We got Colombia, Senegal, Poland, Japan. So. You agree with me again?
Yeah, you again.
But like most people be like, no, Poland for sure. Poland. What made you think Poland's not going to make it past these guys?
Experience, I think. Experience. Because they're gonna look for the striker Lewandowski. Yeah, most of the time. I don't think he's gonna. Like I don't think he's gonna like. What's that word?
Come through?
Come through.
Yeah.
There you go. I don't think he's gonna come through with it. Like he's gonna do like his job, his part, but
you don't think he's gonna deliver? Delivers the word for the World Cup time.
Plus, you gotta look at it too, defense too, the midfield,
I like Grosicki. I think he's a great player. Chesney, like I said, wasn't playing regularly. I don't think Blasikowski got a call up this time, but they know they're picking the right players to start that Poland team. But I just, in comparison to Colombia and Senegal, I don't think that there'll be proper matchups where they can see them going through. Poland will have a good game against Japan. I talked about size differences and sort of how they play a more physical game, and Japan struggles against teams with bigger bodies and they try to depend on their pace on the ball. But other than that, not Senegal, Colombia. So I'm glad we're on that note together. That's good. Well, round of 16. Uruguay, Portugal, but he says Portugal will go through.
I said Portugal.
Why is that? Ronaldo's just gotta do it. It's the last time, eh? Just like Messi, Ronaldo's gotta get.
I don't know. For me, I don't really have confidence with Uruguay. Like I know they have good players. Yeah. They're a good team. Yeah. But I think against Portugal, I think they're gonna choke against Portugal. I think Portugal is gonna go through with that. Yeah. Like I see it. I think Portugal's gonna take it. Yeah.
So worthy argument to make, man. They won Euro 2016. I see that. Let's see. Next round, what do we got? France versus Croatia. I mean,
Like you can see it.
yeah, like
France
I
gonna take
had
it.
them winning
Yeah.
it. So any team you bear with France, it's I mean,
of course.
yeah, it's yeah, that would be a good game if it played out like that. That's for sure. I like both teams a lot, but I have to go with you with that. I agree. I agree. That's for sure. Got some next round. Yeah,
Mexico.
Brazil versus Mexico. It has
Brazil
to be
always
Brazil.
wins. Brazil always
Yeah,
wins.
especially
Every
since-
time they face Mexico, Brazil always takes it.
The head is like that. It's true. I remember that. I remember David Luiz's goal in one of the tournaments. Yeah, it's I feel like because I remember I didn't have Mexico going through, right?
Yeah.
So I think Mexico's weak this time around.
Yeah.
Overall,
Yeah.
I agree. We'll go next stage here. Belgium versus Senegal.
I hate Senegal. I don't know. For me, this
Wow.
one was kind of tough.
It is tough.
Kinda tough.
That's very tough.
But I had to pick
Didn't
one.
I had that too? Just Belgium versus Senegal.
Yeah.
But I said Belgium beats Senegal.
Yeah. Like
Now-
for me, this one is kind of tough.
Yeah.
Like for me, it's basically like I was trying to put both teams to win.
Yeah, or
It's basically like a
go to
50
penalties.
Yeah, or go to penalties.
Yeah, that seems realistic.
Like it's kind of a 50-50, but I'm kind
Yeah.
of going for Senegal. I
Yeah.
think Senegal is a very strong team.
Very
and Belgium, the thing with Belgium, they choke too. They're like another England.
Yeah.
When it comes to like
Yeah.
round of 16 and stuff like that, they start choking and
But they're building the experience now. I do think it's a big break, but it could go either way.
it could go either way. It could go either way. Yeah, it could
We'll
go
see.
penalties.
I think if this game were to happen, it would go to penalties. It's just so
Yeah.
tight. It would come to just
the
stalemate.
one year that I think Belgium might take it. I think Senegal might take it, but it's like a 50-50. It's like a 50-50.
Yeah.
Like, this one was kind of hard for me to like pick. Yeah.
What we got next? We got Russia versus Spain. Hosts finally go down
Yeah.
to Spain. What I got so far. I agree. If this plays out, Spain are going to be
Yeah, it's
all
easy.
a team like Spain
Yeah,
versus
yeah,
Russia.
yeah.
I'm expecting a big score. I'm expecting like a 4-0.
Yeah, me too.
That so
4-0.
I agree with that.
Mhm.
It's definitely going to be the result if it comes to be this round of 16 that they go against each other. Next round, what we got? Australia versus Argentina. Now, yeah, if that were to be like that, I don't even have Australia coming in the group. It has to be Argentina.
Yeah, Argentina, yeah.
But I don't think Argentina would necessarily have an easy time against Australia.
Nah, it's gonna be kind of tough.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they will win, but it won't come easy.
Yeah,
We know
yeah,
that.
yeah. I'd say like a 1-0 maybe.
Yeah. Who scores it?
minimum? Probably like Aguero.
Aguero?
Yeah.
He had a good season.
Yeah.
He had a good season. Alright, so next round, Costa Rica
Costa Rica,
losing to
too.
Germany. That's no brainer for me. I mean, like I said, I didn't have them coming out of the group, so
Yeah.
overpowered. I
Yeah,
think
overpowered.
it's just a one-way traffic for Germany to win that one.
Like I don't see Costa Rica beating Germany on this one.
No way.
No.
No, there's not gonna anything penetrate through that defense.
No.
What do you got for next round though? Oh, we're actually going into quarters. Oh, we got England, Colombia.
England,
But you agree about the curse.
Yeah,
Curse. So
yeah. Colombia's
we said
taking
the
it.
same thing.
Mhm.
Colombia,
Yeah.
we already
Totally.
explained.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
no brainer. I'm
No
sorry,
way.
Southgate. You're not the manager for England.
Not the man.
Not for us.
You're not the man.
Not for taking. Now we
So
can go
let's
to
get
quarters
to,
though. Quarters. Yeah.
quarters.
France wins against Portugal. Yes. And if that happens, they got their revenge from Rio
Yeah.
2016 in their own grounds. This time it'll be Russia, but at least they got revenge. They end up winning. They go through. Portugal's knocked out. Ronaldo cries. And the rest is history. We got next in the quarterfinals. Brazil versus Senegal. Good game. That will be a good game if it happens.
I think it's gonna be an easy game for.
You think so?
Yeah,
Coutinho versus Mane?
Yeah. Easy game.
Ooh.
Easy game. It's gonna be easy game. I think it's gonna be an easy win for Brazil. I think it's gonna go like probably like 4.
4.
4.
I don't see it go that high, but I do see Brazil winning, so I agree with that. But I think Senegal's going to hold their ground if it comes down to it.
If it comes out.
Brazil wins, though. Who is next on the court? Is C?
Spain, Argentina.
Ooh.
That's gonna be a good game.
It would be, but
Good game.
if that does happen, I had Spain going in second. Yeah, Argentina, this is where you would stop. Messi's dream shattered, Ronaldo too. Both of them cry together. No one wins a Ballon d'Or. And it might actually be Salah after all. We'll see, though. Isco's looking great. Isco's looking
looking deadly.
very... They're looking like their best player next day. Yeah, Spain's going to be phenomenal. Who's next? Germany versus Colombia. Ooh. Good game.
Yeah.
But, once again, you are right. Germany has to be the choice over Colombia this time. Both teams look great. Last World Cup, obviously Germany winning it. Colombia having the best looking goals from James Rodriguez. But Germany has more offer, more weapons,
more offense,
more tools to work with.
Back, and I say Germany. Yeah, taking it.
We got some for semis. We got some powerhouses. We got France versus Brazil. So, like you said, the head-to-head record, France does well against Brazil. But you're saying
France, like this one, it's for me. I say France taking it, but it's not gonna be an easy game.
No, it's never gonna be that easy. You're never gonna see a 7-1.
No, you're not gonna see that.
So common.
But it might be like France might struggle or might lose that game.
I can see that.
Or might lose that game.
Struggle.
So like I'm not too sure. Like I go for France, but at the same time I'm not too sure. Because Neymar, Coutinho, Firmino, I got the Fernandinho, you know. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. Like Brazil might take it. But I say France. I say France for this one.
I agree. We both have them winning. So Spain versus Germany. Except you had Germany beating Spain.
Yeah.
So okay. Why do you feel that?
I don't know. Spain.
I said before I set play goal. I've seen it with Puyol back in 2010. And
like I should say, Spain for me, they're not a strong team. Versus like Germany. Germany, they're very like disciplined.
Oh yeah, the discipline's arguably the best in the tournament.
You know, so it's like,
and the consistency in Spain's sector manager. Those are the valid arguments I can see you can make.
So we don't even know how that manager is gonna do with Spain. Like new manager, we don't really know how he's gonna do.
It's a valid argument.
So like I say Germany is taking that one, for sure.
All right. So we got third place. Brazil beats Spain. Whew. I mean, I did have Brazil come third place. But I had Spain come second.
Yeah.
What do you feel the reasoning behind Brazil to win Spain will be mostly?
Like I think Spain's just gonna be like playing like.
I think by then you think they're gonna.
This is gonna be like playing like probably like both teams not really gonna care. Like third place, not really gonna care. But I say Brazil's gonna take it, just to have like that third spot.
Retain some sort of pride.
Yeah, so
get a medal.
And stuff, yeah.
Cash prize.
Spain, I don't think they're gonna like really like give their all. Yeah, for me.
They're both. It's so hard to decide at this stage of the game. Prior to the final, what do we got? France winning it. So we both agree France win it against powerhouse Germany. But I would agree that if this matchup did happen, France being the most depthy team and a La Franc, so much more attack options than Germany, they have to win it.
Yeah, they have to win it.
It's always, no matter who goes against who in the final, it's always like low scoring and people playing conservative. They don't want to take too many risks because it's a serious final. The biggest soccer match, World Cup final. I could see this going to added extra time if it happens, particularly this matchup. So? Yeah, and I think France would win 1-0 in that extra time. It wouldn't go to penalties, but I think 1-0 France. We'll see what happens.
I don't know. For me, I'd probably say like 2-0.
2-0?
Full time.
2-0?
Yeah, 2-0 full time.
Wow.
Because France, they have the young guys, man.
But they haven't necessarily had a World Cup before, right? Like that's
but still, you still have like the Pogbas, the Griezmann, you know, the Matuidi, the
support from the midfield team, offering all those assists.
Like Conte did the Euros, you know. There's some experience there.
You're right. You make it service easy for the young guys.
Mbappe is a very confident player. So he's hungry. He wants
he's
to
the best
be there,
looking guy his age.
Yeah. So it's like the front is solid and the back is solid too. Very solid.
Well, we're on the same wavelength. France to win the World Cup. That's the take-game prediction. Side note. Gotta congratulate Canada, USA, and Mexico coming to home turf here in 2026. Applause for that. I'm happy with that. We're gonna finally see a World Cup game here at home, whether it be Montreal, Edmonton. They're building stadiums around there. It's
about time. It's about time.
Yeah, it's been since '94 USA. If we had one back here in North America, but looking forward to that. But our next video, keep posted. We'll be making comparisons of results of what actually is going to play out from the group stages. We'll make our video right after the group stages and see going on and so forth. Who looked like are worthy options going towards the final, and we'll make adjustments. We'll talk about it, debrief the whole situation, who seems to be the plausible winner. But for now, take care. This was Take Game. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, comment below. We'll catch you next time.